Hey guys, it's Sridhar here on behalf of the Footy Pod, and I'm here with Satyajit as always. There's a lot of stuff to get through. We just finished up with Champions League final. We have the Euros coming up. The transfer mill is in overdrive, and there's just so much to talk about as always. And with me here to discuss it all, to dissect it all, is Satyajit Banerjee. Saro, say hi.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, Saro, nice to have you back, man. All of the others are in sort of a post-exam high, so we're missing a few of them, but I'm sure a few of them will pop in here and out as we sort of progress. But back to important matters. We just got over with the UCL final, a final that was really different from years past. It was a very open game. We saw a lot of attacking football. That's usually not very typical of a final. Chelsea and Manchester City, the game has usually been a little congested, a little more tactical, and this was something that really went against the norm. Tuchel and Pep Guardiola really went against the grain, and they set their teams up to play a very attacking style of football, and it was pure entertainment for all the neutrals out there. Although I'm sure it was a nail biter for the fans out there. Saro, tell me what you thought about the final, man.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, it was obviously quite an open game. Lots of space to kind of move the ball around, and both teams were trying to be on the front foot. But clearly, you know, Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea side had a plan, and they executed it really well. But there were also it was a game where it was a great game for the people who want to learn the art of defending, because the defending in that game was pretty damn good. I think it kind of overshadowed the attacking, because in attack they only had, I think, a total of 3 shots on target in the whole match, which of course is not a very large amount. So that means there were no clear cut chances. So I think the defending was really good, and ultimately, Chelsea, they deserve it, and uh, all my congratulations to them for that.
Yeah, Chelsea were really good. I mean, going into the game, I have to admit, I picked City for favorites, but Chelsea really just turned it up, man. And at the end of the game, it was just great to see emotion on the faces of the likes of Mason Mount and Kai Havertz and Edu Mendy, and it was really nice to see. I feel a little sorry for De Bruyne. His game ended prematurely with a facial fracture, and he might just miss a few games for the Euros. So feel a little bad for him. But Chelsea, runaway leaders. Okay, not runaway leaders, but they won the game, and it didn't. I mean, it did look a bit threatened. Like their lead did look under threat for a while in the second half when Foden started to get into spaces and dictate the play a little bit more. Pep brings on Fernandinho. I think they were a little bit more threatening then. What do you think changed for them?
Um, I think in the second half, obviously, they kind of played with a lot of initiative. I mean, we've seen it before also when they went behind against PSG in the first half of the first leg. They played much better in the second half. So I think, that second half they were looking a bit more threatening. But even then, obviously, Chelsea, whenever they were on the counter, they looked dangerous. And ultimately, City, with all the pressure they had, they had some decent chances. I remember right at the end, Mahrez shot the ball over the crossbar, which was really close. So with all those chances, I think Chelsea really defended well. They worked hard, and they got the reward for it.
Dude, Antonio Rudiger's tackle on Phil Foden was insane. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course. I remember that. I also remember Aspilicueta, I think, heroically kind of coming in and knocking a grounded cross over his own crossbar. The reason Mendy, in my opinion, didn't have to do much was down to these defenders, and they really played like so well. N'Golo Conte, obviously, man of the match performance from him. Rudiger, Reece James, in my opinion, had a brilliant game. He really managed to neutralize Sterling, and those one-on-one runs he's so good at. He was so good at defending Sterling. So I think they all played really well. Even Chilwell held his own. So it was a great all-round team performance by Chelsea.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Their defense was on top of their game. Even if the midfield did, even if Jorginho, for example, did get overrun a little bit, the defense was always there to sweep up and clear the ball, not make any mistakes. Reece James was absolutely solid. So was Aspliqueta. So was Rudiger. Um, Thiago Silva unfortunately had to come off as well. Christensen did really well in his absence. So it was a very good performance. Mason Mount, by the way, what a great assist for Kai Havertz. Like that was a great ball with just the right amount of weight. Kai Havertz takes it around the goalkeeper and scores. It was a great goal and it was a worthy Chelsea win. I did want to ask you about. I think this is something that's been talked about for a while. Pep not starting a defensive midfielder. I saw a post that said that Pep played two defensive midfielders against Tuchel. He played one defensive midfielder against Tuchel. He lost them both, and maybe that was a precedent for him to go into this game without having a defensive midfielder. And I definitely think that was probably the thinking behind it. What do you think? Did he make a mistake? But put yourself in the mindset where you have been in two games where you've lost with DMFs.
Um, I mean, you can, in hindsight, it's obviously very easy to say, he made a mistake. But, in this case, I think he still should have started with one DMF solely because of the fact that the person who was playing in that number 6 role was Ilkay Gundogan. And Ilkay Gundogan is one of their highest scorers this season. So effectively, you're putting an attacking player who's capable of, making those late runs into the box, scoring goals, so putting him in a defensive position, and that is really counterproductive if you think about it, because Gundogan in that patch where De Bruyne was injured was the go-to man for goals, and he's capable of scoring goals, but now you're putting him in a defensive midfield position. He's not going to be able to do that. And ultimately, I think that's one of the things Pep missed. He put Phil Foden in midfield while he was so effective on the wing. Sterling need not have started. He could have come off the bench and utilized his space. I think in this situation, Pep certainly he screwed up. But you can think of it in many ways. You can think of it like Tuchel beat him previously. The last two times he beat Pep Guardiola, and that kind of forced him to kind of doubt his own whatever's worked for him throughout the season. So definitely, I think not playing a defensive midfielder was not the right call, and that was seen in the goal that they conceded as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So you mentioned Ilkay Gundogan in that number 6 position. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either because not only does it take away from defensive abilities, Gundogan is not a DMF, so we can't blame him for that. Yeah, he's not a good defender in transition, and it also takes away from his attacking abilities in the final third. So it's not great. Pep didn't really play to his strengths. I don't think Bernard. I don't think. Yeah, I think Bernardo should have started. I think Sterling might have been dropped for a De Bruyne false nine, but he didn't go for that, and he paid. One person who I did think had a pretty bad game was Zinchenko. I didn't think Zinchenko had a very good game. I think he was very sloppy on the left side. I think Cancelo would have done a much better job because Cancelo is just technically that good. Zinchenko he looked flustered. He looked like he was playing a Champions League final for the first time, which he was. But it's just his inexperience showed, and the likes of who was it on that side? I think Werner was constantly making runs in behind him, and there was also Reece James who was overlapping him at times. So it wasn't the best of nights for Zinchenko. Um, what do you think of his performance?
I don't really think he had that bad a game, because I remember there was a moment where he actually tracked back really well and put in a good tackle to, I think, stop I think Timo Werner from scoring. So I don't really think he had a bad game, but I can get where you're coming from. I remember for the goal he did not kind of track Havertz, so you could kind of say that he could have done better over there. But I don't really think he had that bad a game. But I think even then I would have still started Joao Cancelo, because he's so good technically. He can kind of come in. He can play like literally almost anywhere on the pitch. as a midfielder almost. But I don't really think Zinchenko had that bad a game. I think the fact that they did not have that kind of defensive cover they would have gotten from having a DMF kind of made it seem like they were a bit defensively vulnerable, because if you remember, even Stones was looking a bit shaky. I think Walker had a really underrated game. I think he was really trying towards the end, especially to kind of cross the ball in, try to carry the ball forward. But ultimately, it did not work, and Chelsea Chelsea got the dub. But also, you have to say Werner could have actually scored a few of those chances earlier and made it 3-0. But you can criticize him for that, but you can't overlook the fact that his run to take the ass away kind of opened the space for Havertz to run. So off the ball he's really good, on the ball he needs to work. So yeah.
Oh, definitely, definitely. His run to pull Diaz away was brilliant. Oh, completely opened up the space for Kai Havertz. His off the ball movement was great during the final. I think he was fast, he was incisive, and he made the right runs. He held his runs. He wasn't offside either. And it's so easy to go offside in those situations. Like it's just so easy. Like I've seen the likes of Morata, for example, just screw up even the slightest of runs, and Timo Werner just makes it look effortless. But I agree. I think his on the ball uh, football has to improve. I think his finishing has to improve. I think okay, I did think he got a lot of stick in the final for missing a few chances, but I think the big chance that people did say he got, I think the pass to him was behind him, which made it tough for him. So I don't think we can necessarily blame him for that. But yeah, I'm not making any excuses for him. He needs to improve, and maybe next season. I mean, I think he's gotten like 12 goals this season already. If this is a bad season for him, and 17 assists, my dad. If he's got 29 goal involvements in his flop season, it's interesting to see how he'll do in a season where he's on form and he's adapted well to England. So yeah, so the Champions League final was great. It was just pure entertainment, man. I don't know what to say. I was on the edge of my seat for large periods of the game, and yeah, it was just great. Um, but now that the club season is over, we have the summer to look forward to. The summer consists this time of the Euros, the Copa America, and as always, the transfer window. And the summer transfer window is always the window in which you see the majority of the transfers, and this one's going to be big. This transfer window is going to be so big because we're going to see like big names moving. We've already seen the likes of Aguero, David Alaba, Konyate moving. These are all big names. Okay, maybe not Konyate, but you get my point. These are all big names. We're going to be moving. We're going to see the potential dominoes of these transfers happening, and it's just going to be so exciting to see. We're also going to see we're also seeing like a massive manager exodus from clubs, so the dominoes of that are also interesting to see. So let's get into a few transfer rumors, man. I want to sort of divide this segment into the rumors that are ongoing, that people, that maybe there's some truth to it, maybe there's not. We'd like to discuss that. And I also want to devote some time to transfer gems who we haven't really heard of, who've been really underrated, but could really do with a move away from where they are right now. So let's jump into that. Let's talk about some transfer rumors that'll go with it.
Right. I mean, we saw one rumor kind of get addressed today. We saw Sergio Aguero complete his move to Barcelona. We've already seen Konate move to Liverpool, and as you mentioned, David Alba has gone to Real Madrid. So all those transfers have been completed. I think all of them are quite good transfers. I think a lot of them address some of the needs which these respective teams may have. Konate, another center back, going to Liverpool, who obviously had a big center back injury crisis last season. Um, you have David Alaba going to Real Madrid, and obviously he's going to add a lot with his versatility and his undoubted ability as a player. And of course, Sergio Aguero moving to Barcelona, where there was a large complaint that they didn't have a proper number nine. Now with his arrival, we can kind of see that kind of go to bed. But other rumors which are interesting, of course, you have a lot of these free transfers to Barcelona with Wijnaldum, obviously leading the way along with the Memphis Depay, Eric Garcia. So obviously, I think those transfers are going to be massive for Barcelona because they're free in the sense they don't have to pay a transfer fee to the club. They just have to uh, pay the wages, and I think they're investing in some really good talent. What do you think? What do you think about the incoming free transfers or rumored free transfers for Barcelona?
Oh, it's a very exciting time to be a Barca fan. Notwithstanding their financial situation, the transfers that they're bringing in is exciting. They're bringing in Gini Wijnaldum, Sergio Aguero is already confirmed. I mean, these transfers are all basically confirmed. Like Eric Garcia, Gini Wijnaldum, Sergio Aguero, Memphis Depay. Memphis Depay is a big one. Wijnaldum's a big one because they don't really have a player with the characteristics that Wijnaldum brings. I'm hearing that Barca might step up their interest in Gianluigi Donnarumma from AC Milan. Is it AC Milan?
Yes, yes.
It is AC Milan. Yeah. So that could be interesting to see. I don't know why Donnarumma might want to move because his competition would be Ter Stegen, and I don't think he starts above Ter Stegen. Um, so it's an exciting time to be a Barca fan, man. It's yeah, they're going to really challenge for the league, and but it's also going to be interesting to see which players leave. There's they have to sell players to make room on their roster to clear up some of the wage bills. So who do you think Barca sells off?
As far as I know, I can see maybe Pjanic leave. He obviously hasn't had a great time at the Camp Nou. Of course, Ricky Puig, who has kind of fallen out of favor with the
Oh, I
current
think
manager.
I think he's signing a new contract actually. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's my bad. I guess he stays. I mean, he's pretty young anyway, so I wouldn't. I think that is for Barcelona's benefit. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've heard any such rumors suggesting. But if I were Barcelona, maybe I would kind of make room, sell the likes of I don't know. I don't think Brad. I don't know if Brathwaite can leave, but I don't know if anyone wants him. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know who Barcelona can possibly let go. I mean, what do you think as a from the other side, as a Real Madrid supporter? What do you think Barcelona? Who do you think goes in this season?
Well, I was thinking they actually cut off a lot of their dead wood this summer, so we might see the likes of Gerard Piqué, Jordi Alba, Sergio Busquets leave. Um, at this point, given that we haven't heard anything about that, I have my doubts. But I do think that the likes of they will try and offload Coutinho,
Yeah,
right?
Coutinho is a big one. That's one I was forgetting. Yeah.
Yeah. So Coutinho is a big one. Maybe Dembele. I think I've heard rumors about Dembele being sold. I'm not a fan of that because I think Dembele is a very good player in his own right. I have
Hmm.
heard news about his inconsistency, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe Dembele, Sergi Roberto, Martin Brathwaite, like you mentioned. These are all players that if I were in the hot seat in Barca, I'd probably be looking to get their names off the roster. Yeah. Interesting times for Barca, man. They've really gotten a, a, a foot. They put a foot forward in the transfer window, and they're really going for it. And from the other side, it's really disheartening to see that Real Madrid themselves haven't really done much. We've only seen the likes of David Alaba join. David Alaba is obviously a massive addition. I think the fact that there is no transfer fee, that it's a free transfer, sort of accounts for his massive fee. I think it's a 3-year contract, in which case it's fine. He's also very versatile. He can play in midfield, which he's been doing for Bayern lately. He can play left back and center back, which is massive, massive for us. So David Alaba is a great addition, but we also need to. Today rumors came out that Ramos wants to leave. There was also the Zidane letter, which was interesting. I didn't think that was the right thing to do from Zidane, just because I think Florentino Perez has always been extremely supportive of him. So I don't think it's the right time. It also removes potentially removes any incentives that new managers might have from joining Real Madrid. So I don't think it was a great move from Zidane. I think it was a little bit self-centered. I didn't think he needed to do that. But moving on from a Real Madrid point of view, in other transfer news, we have the likes of let me just go through this. Yeah, we have the likes of Sancho. Sancho is a big name who might move. Sancho, even Mbappe. I think Haaland probably stays this year, but Sancho is a big one. So give me your views on those three.
I mean, Jadon Sancho, obviously, last year he missed out on a transfer to Manchester United, or I mean, a rumored transfer to Manchester United, because obviously they were asking for a very high fee. But now they are kind of they've lowered their asking price, and I think there are other now more clubs which are interested. The likes of um, Liverpool maybe can go for him. Manchester City, his former club, but I don't think that is likely to happen. So I think it's basically Man United, Liverpool, maybe even Chelsea. Now that they're European champions, I'm sure that they have a decent amount of pulling power. So yeah, a lot of these rumors going around, and around Sancho. As for mentioned Haaland I think does not move this season necessarily. Although if any of the clubs are willing to pay his transfer fee, you can see maybe a City or a Chelsea again do that. Chelsea, obviously, I think are trying to get a number nine. I heard they want to try to get Lukaku, who obviously had a great season with Inter, and of course Erling Haaland, who obviously in his own right has done so well. Um, but yeah, definitely it's going to be a huge transfer window for these people. And who was the third guy you named? I can't kind of forgetting.
Uh, Only Kylian Mbappe.
Oh, of course, Kylian Mbappe. Yeah, I mean, obviously, he has expressed his desire that maybe one day he wants to play in the Santiago Bernabeu as a Real Madrid player. There have also been rumors kind of saying that he wants to play for Liverpool, which I find quite interesting. Although I don't see that happening in the near future, just because I think Liverpool's owners are kind of stingy. But you know, I think he's gonna stay in PSG. I don't know. I think he's probably gonna get a big contract unless he's tired of playing in the French league, which I can totally understand. So yeah, I think that's up to him whether he wants to move or not.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. These are all big names, and I'm sure that the movement of one would potentially create dominoes that will affect multiple clubs. Another name that you mentioned, Lukaku. Like, I think that's actually a great move for Chelsea if they can go for it. I think he's automatically an upgrade on Werner. He's got speed. He's strong. He's got finishing ability. That's a lot better than Werner. So I think that's definitely an upgrade. Um, it's interesting because there's also a lot of other names on the market that aren't really talked about. So one name that I'm really excited by, especially in the aftermath of Ramos wanting to leave, is the defender named Jules Koundé. He plays for Sevilla, and I rate him so highly, dude. I've been watching him for the past 2 years, and I think the first time I saw him really, the first time I saw him was just the first time he really stood out to me. It was this game against Barca, and this was right after lockdown when you had that 10-game stretch, right? 10-game race to the end, and the game was against Barca, and Messi got a free kick at the end, right where he likes it. He took the free kick, and if Barca won that game, I think they'd still be top. But this was the first game they dropped points, and he took the free kick. Kunde was in the wall, while he takes while the ball's in the air. Kunde manages to get onto the goal line and clear the ball. It would have been a goal if he hadn't done that. So that was the first time he stood out to me, and he's just been so impressive since then. He's been called up by the Euros. I think he has a great chance at starting. Jules Koundé is a name that I'm very excited to see in the transfer market. Have you seen a lot of him?
Kunde, yeah, of course, I've seen him. I think I saw a bit of him in that Real Madrid game right at the end of the season. Obviously I've seen him against Dortmund as well. So I think he's a pretty talented defender. Obviously, from what I've seen, he's not very tall, but he still has kind of the speed and kind of he's kind of strong. Um, he also, I think I did see him in the Europa League final last year as well. That's another place I've seen him against Inter, and even the semis against Man United. I think both
I
of
think he
those.
scored in the Europa League final, if I'm not wrong. Oh no, wait, I think
Sorry,
it did he score in the Europa League final?
I'm not sure. I don't think he did. I think the final it was Luke De Jong and one more person. I can't remember. May have been him, but what I'm trying to say is basically like he is a talented defender. Obviously, he's not very tall, but he's strong. He's kind of got a good upper body strength. It's hard to obviously outmuscle him in kind of these duels. And yeah, he's definitely one to watch out for. As you mentioned, he's still very young, and hopefully, someone like Real Madrid may be able to get him in the future.
Yeah, so I think Jules Koundé is a player that we can get, especially if we are to lose Rafael Varane as well. I think I'm just this conversation depresses me so much, man, because Varane has been an absolute stalwart in our defense. It's been a player where you just keep him in defense and you forget about it. Like you don't even think about who might replace him, and it's just not gonna happen. Varane's always been that good. He's been that consistent. Um, so, do you see Varane leaving? Because
Yeah,
his
I mean,
contract ends next year, and he's sort of hinted at the fact that he might want to try a new challenge.
yeah. To answer your question, possibly yes. We saw that with Alaba this year, where he left Bayern for similar reasons. He wanted a new challenge. Obviously, Varane, he's been around for so long, you kind of forget the fact that he's only like 27. So there's still a large amount of time, long time left before he, starts to decline. In my opinion, I think he's a quality defender. Obviously, he's got a lot of pedigree. He's won a World Cup with his country. He's obviously won a lot of Champions League trophies when in that triple which Real Madrid did a few years ago, and also that one in 2014. So definitely, he's a very talented defender. Obviously, Madrid lose him, it'll be a big blow. So yeah, but that if he wants to leave, he has only the best clubs to kind of choose from. He can go to. I've heard Man United may be interested in him. Obviously to put a quality center back partner for Harry Maguire. But yeah, definitely, if he wants to leave, and I can understand if he does want to leave. As you mentioned, he has hinted at it. So I mean, yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's always a conversation that's really saddening for me. I don't want Varane to leave. Um, but yeah, life moves on. I guess Real Madrid have to as well. So let's sort of talk about some of the more hidden gems in football right now. There are so many right now that aren't talked about at all, and they've just been away from the spotlight, and they've just kept delivering performance after performance in a consistent way. Do you have any ideas? Do you have any names in mind?
For hidden gems in the transfer market, obviously, I guess you talk about players like Eduardo Camavinga, obviously from Rennes, 18 years old, representing France again in the World Cup, which at his age is massive. Also, I think people don't talk about this guy enough is Dusan Vlahovic, who actually won the Syria Best Young Player of the Season, which was given today. So he's obviously a quality player. 21 goals in the Syria and he's only 21 or 22. So I think those are two players which I would love in the club I support, Liverpool, because obviously um, Vlahovic will add another attacking option which is better than what we have on the bench at the moment. And obviously Kamavinga can come in and replace Gini Wijnaldum, who has obviously decided to leave. But yeah, these two are some standout players in my eyes.
Yeah, I haven't heard of Lahovic, so I'm gonna watch YouTube highlight of him and bloat my expectations up and be vocal about the fact that Real Madrid need to buy him. Um, but let me talk about a few I have in mind. The first one I have is Mikel Oyarzabal. He isn't really. I think he's been hidden. He is a hidden gem, to be fair. I think he's very young. He's in the Euro squad for Spain. I think he's probably going to start as well. He's the captain of Real Sociedad. He's just so good, man. He's so good, and the fact that he's in Spain and he's a Spanish player sort of gives me hope that Real Madrid might go in for him. But I don't have a lot of hope. But okay, I just said I hope, but to be fair, it's not very realistic given that we have loanies like Brahim Diaz coming back who performed exceptionally on at AC Milan. So I think we'd rather give the likes of Brahim a chance. But I think that if Oyarzabal does come up and he does want to leave, I think we should be in the market for him. Oyarzabal, Mikel Oyarzabal, keep him in your mind, guys.
Yeah,
He's gonna be big on the world stage.
yeah, man.
A second name is I want to talk about is okay. He's not hidden, but he needs to get out of that club. Okay, it's Alan Saint Maxima. What an app! What an absolute gem of a player, dude. Talk
Yeah.
about him. You've seen him more than I have.
Yeah, man, definitely. I remember watching that game where Liverpool drew against Newcastle, which kind of started to I kind of started losing hope for top four. Yeah, he's a really good player, really good dribbler. Obviously really pacey, and I don't know what he's doing in Newcastle. I mean, he plays in a team which predominantly does not have the ball, cannot really give him the ball. So he's basically just, languishing around, trying to supply the likes of Joe Ellington. And, you know, it's just it's just a travesty that he's in that club. So, I mean, hopefully he does get a move in the future. I think he is kind of in a similar situation as Wilfred Zaha in the sense that he is probably a similar kind of player who is playing in a club which does not really suit his strengths. So maybe in the future, he's still very young. He's only, I think, 23 or 24 years old. So he has a lot of time to maybe make that big move. But I think one man which we have forgotten to talk about, of course, which is quite newsworthy, is Tottenham's talisman Harry Kane. Where do you think he's gonna go? What do you think? He's going to City or
How
United?
how have we not spoken about this yet? Harry Kane, damn, one of the biggest names on the transfer market right now. Look, I don't know if Daniel Levy lets him go, but I think the fact that Kane's given them so many years of great service, Levy might just succumb and let him go. But it won't be for cheap. And so the fact that it won't be for cheap and he is probably going to demand a good salary is means that the likes of United and City are automatically favorites for his signature. The fact that Aguero has left City potentially creates that domino effect in where they might be in the market for a striker. So I could see Kane going there. Manchester United, I don't know. I think if they go for Jadon Sancho, I don't think they have the funds left for Harry Kane. So it might be they might have to choose. But for me, I think he goes to City. What about you?
Yeah, I don't see him going to Man United either, at least not this season, because of the fact that Cavani signed a new 1 year extension. So, and I don't think they're going to necessarily prioritize getting a striker. City obviously losing Aguero. You saw that they kind of need a number nine. They don't have an out and out number nine. I don't think Jesus is gonna answer is good enough to kind of give them what exactly they need, which is of course an out and out goal scorer, which he's not. He has other qualities, but he's not an out and out goal scorer. So I think Harry Kane really answers what City need at the moment, and obviously City answer what Harry Kane needs at the moment, and that is trophies. He's such a great player, leading assist getter, leading goal scorer in this season's Premier League, and to finish seventh with Tottenham, obviously will make him feel like, what am I doing here? So I think he does need a move, and I think the fact that he's showing ambition and deciding to kind of move. Some may say that he's not being loyal, but at some point you have to say, I want to look back at my career and look at my trophies, not just look at golden boots and individual awards. So definitely City for me is the best decision, best destination for him to end up in.
Yeah, definitely trophy. You're a long time retired as a player, and You're not going to look back, and I mean, sure, the individual trophies are going to play a part, but what you want to see is the Champions League trophy, maybe a FIFA World Cup here and there, maybe a Premier League or whatever. So that's definitely played a part in his thinking. I think Spurs fans have nothing to be like jealous about. I think they can only be grateful for what he's done, and he's just such a great player, man. His hold up play, his strength, his dribbling, his finishing. Dear God, what a finisher he is. So Harry Kane to City, I think. So that's my prediction. Let's see if that
Yeah,
comes true. By the way, if City get Harry Kane, what a team they're gonna be, man.
yeah, definitely. Obviously this year they could not win the Champions League. I kind of predicted that um, in the earlier episode.
I was wondering when this was gonna come in.
I had my reasons, to be honest. Obviously, the record Pep has against Tuchel is not very good. He's not lost. He lost two previous ones before. Also, the fact that City never made it to a Champions League final before, so I think that kind of experience does make a difference, and we kind of saw that
I mean, the
when
thing
they
is,
played.
the thing about that kind of stat that I don't really believe in is because most of the players who were playing the final the other day, they weren't in the squads that played the previous finals, right? So if, from a club's point of view, yeah, it was their, they've played finals before. It was City's first final, but it's just like these players, Mason Mount, Reece James, Tony Rudiger, they've never played finals before, which is why I sort of have some disregard for these kind of stats.
Yeah, but obviously Thomas Tuchel made to a final last year, so I guess that also, you have to consider as well. He kind of lost it, so obviously he knows like how to kind of set his team up. Pep obviously has not been to a final in 10 years or however long that is. So I think, yeah, you're right. I guess the players don't really have that kind of UCL final experience to back up to kind of fall back on. But as a club, obviously, Chelsea, you're playing for Chelsea. They've made it to two European champ finals before. So yeah, I guess so that ultimately did make a difference. And hopefully, City. I don't think this is the last final City's gonna play. But yeah, hopefully they get it next time. At least if you're a City fan.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna take this conversation down just a little bit more interesting route. I'm gonna put you on the spot here. I'm gonna ask you in a rapid fire question. I'm gonna ask you five hidden gems that you think teams should go for this year. So go for it, man.
Dusan Vlahovic, obviously I mentioned him earlier,
Oh
still
no,
young.
you can't use the ones you used before. Come
I can't.
on.
Oh,
No,
damn. Oh,
that's
no. Okay, fine. All right. I guess one would be Rafinha from Leeds. Um, he's a great winger. Obviously, we've seen like he's great at dribbling, good passer. He can take set pieces. Good all round player. Definitely. He
rapid
can.
fire, man. Rapid fire. You're giving yourself time to think about the other four.
Okay.
Come on, come on.
Okay. Rafinha. I would go for someone like Rodrigo De Paul, a good midfielder for Udinese. He plays in the Serie A. Highly rated. Other than that, again, I would go for um, Diego Carlos, Jules Koundé's partner. Um, Great defender
Great player.
again, tall. Um, and after that, I would go with let's say in Bayern, I think Jude Bellingham, although he has only spent
Or
1 year at Dortmund.
wait,
He's
he's a
still
Bayern player?
no. Jude Bellingham is a Dortmund player.
Yeah. So why did you say Bayern?
I say Bayern? I didn't say Bayern. I meant Dortmund. But
Okay.
yeah, he's only 17 and he scored in a Champions League quarterfinal. Definitely one to look for in the future. And one more, I guess I would say Emilio Buendia from Norwich. Um, Highest assist getter in the championship this season. Created the six most chances in the Premier League when Norwich were up. To do that for a team like Norwich is simply amazing. So he's
I hear he's
definitely some.
uh, I hear he's being linked with Arsenal. So
Yeah.
Arsenal fans, if that's true, yeah, that's great news for you then. So yeah, I think that's a very comprehensive overview of the transfer market. Let's move on to the other summer attractions, I should say. We have the Euros and the Copa America coming up. The Copa America just got shifted to Brazil, from Argentina and Colombia. They were candidates, but they didn't get picked. So we have the Copa America in Brazil, and we have the Euros coming up. It's gonna be a gala of football, man. So what do you predict in these tournaments? There's just so much to look forward to.
Yeah, lots of interesting storylines. Obviously, France, Portugal, Germany in the same group. That's something to look forward to. England playing again at their home ground. Can they bring it home? I don't know. Let's see. As for Copa America, obviously Messi's probably one of his last chances to get his hands on an international trophy, which is not the Olympic gold medal. Um, and of course, you have obviously have Brazil again. Neymar last year he was not there. Last time he was not there in the Brazil team. They won it. Um, so definitely a lot to look forward to. What do you think? What do you think? If you had to name your top three favorites in both these tournaments, who would you go for?
I think it's France. I support Belgium, so I'm gonna go Belgium second, and I'm gonna give third to Spain. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give Spain the third ahead of Germany and England. But this it's just so tight to call, man. I think I have
Yeah.
France as clear favorites, just
Mhm.
because they have an absolute cracker of a team. They have Benzema back, which is massive. I think that anybody who's seen Benzema play these past 2 seasons will. I think it's earned him a recall. He's been massive for Real Madrid. He might as well just play alone for us. Along with Courtois and Ramos and Militao and but Benzema's been massive. I think for France, they just become so much better, man. I don't think I don't think we can comprehend just how good France is. Their front line is unless until we see the likes of Griezmann and Mbappe and Benzema running at defenders. It's just terrifying, man. Which is why I have France as favorites. Belgium, I think their chances have been hurt. Kevin De Bruyne obviously he might miss a few games, but I think they have a relatively easy group, so they might just get out. Eden Hazard, Romelu Lukaku. Eden Hazard, I think he came out in an interview today saying that he's got some pain in his thigh, but I expect that to be fine. They obviously have Yuri Tielemans, Yannick Carrasco. These are all great players. So Belgium in second. Third is, like I said, Spain. Spain's got a stacked squad as well. I was disappointed to see no Real Madrid players there. I think Nacho should have gotten in ahead of Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia hasn't played in a year, and he also chose just 24 players instead of 26. So I really don't get his reasoning there. I think I don't know, man. He was probably hungover and like probably hating on Real Madrid a little bit, and that sort of came out. It's very disappointing to see that. Spain in second, Spain in third. We have the likes of Oyarzabal, like I mentioned before. In defense, you have Laporte, Pau Torres, Jordi Alba. Um, these are just great players. In midfield, they have Thiago as well. It's stacked squad, so I expect them to do well as well. Um, but other noteworthy mentions are Croatia. What are the other teams in there? Uh,
Italy.
Italy, yeah, Italy's been really good. Netherlands as well. They've all been very good. So it's going to be an exciting tournament. We're going to see a bunch of players who we don't usually see play together, and it leads to massive storylines. After after months of like really stressful club football, this is just the kind of thing you need because it's just gala. It's a football carnival, man, and it's just great. The Copa America, by the way, what do you think of that?
Yeah, of course. You know, the likes of Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, they all have good teams. I think Chile as well, which it's a funny story. Chile have actually got a player called Ben Brereton in their team now. Ben Brereton is a Nottingham Forest striker, sorry, Blackburn striker, and he suddenly got a call because his mom is apparently from Chile. So I think that's pretty interesting. Um, but yeah, they have these teams. In my opinion, obviously Brazil, I think, are clear favorites to retain the Copa America. They have a really good squad. in every position they have world class players from goalkeeper to defense, midfield, attack. They have a stacked squad. Lionel Messi, obviously, his Argentina team, I think, is a bit better than what he had last time. Emi Martinez in goal, Christian Romero, as one of the center backs. Otamendi, I think, is going to come in. I don't know. I, that doesn't sound too good, but I think I think overall they have a pretty decent team. Dybala did not get called up, interestingly, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Colombia, obviously, with James and Yerry Mina, you know, talented
I think
players.
James is gonna miss. I think James is gonna miss the tournament.
Oh, is he?
Actually, yeah. I
Interesting.
didn't. I don't know. I don't see. I don't know why, but I saw like a Marsa article saying that the James might miss it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Chile, I think, is also good. Vidal, Sanchez, who's actually played well this season.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Gary Medel, I think, is going to play, although
I
he
don't
hasn't
know who
done
that is.
done much. But yeah, definitely interesting.
Yeah. This it's gonna be crazy. I have Brazil as favorites over there as well. Do you think Messi has a shot? Do you think
I
he gets his international trophy finally?
think, I mean, I would hope so. I do want him to end his career with an international trophy with his country. Um, but yeah, definitely, it's going to be hard for him. But it'll be interesting to see. Aguero, Messi, they have a lot of attacking players, but I think it's going to be hard. It's definitely going to be hard. Papu Gomez, another one which I didn't mention.
Di
They
Maria.
just Di Maria, of course. So they have good attack, but I think it's going to be their defense which kind of lets them down. But anyway, I think it's been a really fruitful discussion of things which have gone good, things which are going to happen, and also things which have finished, which was, of course, that turbulent season of football, which gave us so much stress, as you mentioned earlier. So I think this is a good time to end things. So it's been a pleasure to record this episode. So if you're still listening, thank you so much for sticking around for so long. Make sure to like, comment, of course, your thoughts, and please subscribe as well. And yeah, thank you so much.